You're watching Drakewing Gaming. Enjoy the video.
Hey guys and gals, Never here from Drakewing Gaming, a Soviet man on Twitter, the Gaming Dragon. Today I'm coming back at you another Let's Play episode of Minotaur Hotel. So y'all, before we jump into it, just want to let y'all know that our Patreon is now for as little as $5. Y'all can help support the channel, get some awesome rewards like permanent access to our community Discord server and full access to upcoming Not Safe for Work videos. Anyway y'all, let's go ahead and jump right back in. Alarm chain, you were up, and let's go. Alright. To my unfaltering servant, it's what he wrote in the letter. And Sir Robert, to my childhood playmate. This, too, is the Master's right. You may choose how I should look. The Labyrinth's magic will arrange it. By the oath I have sworn, I am obligated to inform. I am bound to instruct you, to the best of my abilities, on all the hotel's capacities. So you see my asking Master what he thought of my clothes. That was not trivial. Your will is in order. The why? I have burdened you terribly, my lord, with my rambling. I prefer not to weigh you down further with unsightly knowledge. But to answer your question in a delicate way, as you can see, I can be healed quickly. The special wine I drink is used to hasten the process. I am terribly difficult to injure permanently. The labyrinth allows the Master to control my form to an extent, with the goal of making it so I would not heal from certain injuries should the Master wish it so. Pry further. What do you mean by that exactly? Oh, okay, no, I don't want to remain quiet. Okay. I suppose Master sees where I am going with this. What is your will, my lord? Pick a fur color for Asterion. Oh! Which one do you want, Asterion? Which color would you rather be? Excuse me. You heard me. What color would you rather be? What do you prefer? Master need not worry about what I want. I am the servant. My will shouldn't affect your judgment. But I want to learn more about you. I would appreciate knowing, even if you don't think it matters. The Minotaur sighs and bites his lip. You think you displeased him somehow, but then a smile grows, shy as a blossoming flower. It means a lot to me that you asked. It is very kind of you. It is just, pardon me, I am not used to being asked what I want. The Minotaur turns around and picks up a bottle of wine you brought from the lounge. With a trained dexterity, he opens it with a corkscrew. Asterion turns back to you, then looks down to the wine glasses on the table. He holds the bottle with both hands, like one would hold a cross over one's chest. He steps toward the glasses, but pauses and puts the bottle to his lips. You can see his Adam's apple bobbing as he drowns his sorrows. When he meets your gaze again, there is a softness in his eyes you hadn't seen before. If Master wishes my honesty, I would be soothed if I knew Master appreciates me. My fur's color is secondary at best compared to that. I suppose I struggle with putting this into words. The Masters have commanded me to change to fit their visions. The same goes for how I should act and address them. And I obeyed eagerly, because I thought it would make them like me more. And if they appreciate me, won't they be less likely to send me out to the valley? I will eagerly don whatever color you wish, if it will make the Master like me more. Perhaps even prize me. It is not often that I have been asked what I want. I am a prisoner, after all. Why should the jailer care for my comfort? That you would extend to me such consideration, that is reason enough for me to rejoice. In which case it is right I give you an answer, one clearer than what I've told you so far. When I was alive, my fur was white. In my dreams I still see myself with that same white fur. In the waking world I look down and sometimes can't withhold a certain surprise to find out it isn't the case. After all those years locked away, I had even forgotten what my fur color currently was. If Master wants an answer, that is it. White fur would be nostalgic for me. Still, I'd be happy no matter what, as long as you don't hurt me. Please, don't feel pressure to consider this in your decision. I'm already happy you cared enough to ask. Whatever your choice is, I will be cheerful. I won't hurt you. I understand why you're afraid. I can see myself being suspicious of any new Masters after what happened to you. My words might not convince right now, but I'll say them nonetheless. I won't hurt you. The Minotaur holds on tightly to his bottle of wine. He looks down and bites his lip. A sudden weight seems to bear down on his back. I am only half-bull. I am acquainted with the wiles of the human heart. Perhaps Master takes pity on me tonight, but I know how fragile human whims are, how they fade so quickly. 1 second now. It is water time. I have thought long and hard over those decades locked away. 1 second now. Coconut water. Alright. How about this hotel, my sentence, my previous masters, and a young boy I knew? He was around my age. His name was Icarus. His father fashioned wings out of beeswax and feathers for the both of them, but Icarus had the hubris of flying too close to the sun. He fell to his death in the sea below, and we met in Hades after my death. I thought about him, that boy. Had I committed the same mistake by allowing myself to be happy? Joy was never my lot in life. Asterion caresses the table like he would a lover. His nails graze against the wood, clicking just loud enough for you to hear. Much like Icarus, I enjoyed a glimpse of freedom. This hotel was my set of wings. A chilly breeze blows in from the window. It sends a shiver down your spine and a sudden stone coldness to Asterion's face. There are promises which cannot be fulfilled, my lord. The hotel knows this well. That all contracts can be made to have an effect. The labyrinth would not allow one that opposes its stated mission. There was one master who, early in his mandate, tried passing a contract which would forbid any and all from harming me. It could not be made to have an effect. The ink would drip off from it, the paper aged and rotted like milk. Worse still, his charity ran out one day. It is easy to offer one gesture of mercy, but to have it last requires a special kind of intensity. Power reveals what lays underneath. There were a number of gentle masters who turned sour and grew comfortable with harsh punishments. Even the kindest ones have not shied away from punishing me. It was their mission, after all. You and Asterion both stare at each other. He eventually looks away, scratching the left side of his face. Yeah. Please, forget what I said, my lord. You approach Asterion. You raise your hand and cradle the left side of his face. You run your fingers over his short fur while taking care not to get too close to his injury. Asterion hesitates, but with each caress of your fingers, his eyes close further and he leans his weight against your hand. I promised I won't send you to the valley, and I won't hurt you. Asterion fully supports his weight on your hand. His eyelid flutters, as if he was already falling asleep. You lift your other hand and begin petting the right, healthier side of Asterion's face. The Minotaur leans towards you, and you scoot closer to balance his weight. You let the Minotaur have his nap until his ear flicks. You give it a gentle rub, and his eyes shoot open. Master Alexios, I am sorry. I don't know what got to me. It must be the drowsiness. It won't happen again. He remains with his head in your hands. It's fine. How are you feeling now? I'm well. Good. Asterion hesitates further before prying himself away from you. With a sigh, he does so. Again, I am so sorry. You did nothing wrong. There's no reason for you to say that. As you say, my lord. It's all right, Asterion. I'll be different. Don't you worry. Oh. Pick a fur color for Asterion. White fur is quite striking. Yeah, boy! Give our boy some white fur. Oh, if Master would allow an impertinent inquiry, did you choose white fur because of what I said? As I explained, I'm happy enough knowing you cared to ask. You do not restrict your choice because of me. Anyhow, if white is truly your want, then I gladly obey. Asterion closes his eyes and focuses. Before your eyes, his fur begins to change. There we go. Asterion's fur is now a lustrous white color as per your request. It's like, coconut water time. Oh, man. That is some damn good coconut water. I'm honored with your choice, Master. Asterion heads to the kitchen to prepare your dinner. From time to time, you see him staring at his arms while he's cooking. Maybe he's getting used to his new fur color. After a while, Asterion returns to the table, serves you dinner, and sits on the opposite end of the table as usual. When you look up, you're greeted by Asterion's big, dopey smile. He tries to contain himself, but it ends with him having to stop his giggling. At times, he almost dozes off, still with a smile plastered on his face. You finish your meal. Asterion goes to pick up your dish as usual. This time, you left a big chunk for him to have, and he smiles as he heads to the kitchen. You bid each other good night, and then head to your respective bedrooms for the night. The following morning, as usual, the sound of Asterion's hooves clopping on the floor and the smell of breakfast wakes you up. You wake up, get dressed, and head out of the bedroom. Asterion once again greets you. Sorry, y'all. I just got off work. Good morning, Master. I hope you slept well. After breakfast routine, this time Asterion serves scrambled eggs, ham, and freshly squeezed orange juice. He washes the dishes and returns to you. What are your plans for today, Master? Well, it's still pretty early. I think I'm gonna stick around here and tinker with my phone a little, see if I can get it to work. What about you? I think I'll head down to reception, see if we're lucky enough to get any more guests. So soon? Well, I guess Luke got here soon after we lit the hearth, so it's possible. Oh, before I go, what should I wear today, Master? Is my fur color right? Let's see. Yes, your fur color is great. Let's see. Clothes, what do we got? Let's do a modern shirt. Moo. Moo. Finish. Confirm selection, yes. What's the matter, Asterion? Well, I'm debating whether I should tell you this or not, but I suppose it mustn't mean a lot to you, but I appreciate that Master has been good to me in one sense. What do you mean? Some of the more ruthless masters enjoyed humiliating me in many ways. Stripping me down and making me walk on all fours, that was a common one. I may be a hybrid, but I am half human. I'm not a beast. That came to an end, thankfully. In accordance with the contracts written and signed by previous masters, I am forbidden from exposing myself when we are expecting guests. Neither may I establish a relationship with a guest. I am under a variety of restrictions. Not all of those contracts were written out of kindness, but they were beneficial. I am happy that you haven't attempted to break that rule, Master Alexios. Forgive me for bringing up the subject, but I thought it was important that you know. Very well, then. Very well, then. I shall head to reception. Asterion leaves and gives you a smile before closing the door behind him. You sit down on the couch, staring at the door and then the window, and think about how to spend your morning. Coda 1. Journey to the West. The light plays through the verdant leaves above, casting flickering shadows along the forest path. To either side, trees sway in the light breeze, whispering their secrets to each other, and the traveler passing under their mighty boughs. Oh! The dragon hums a quiet, simple tune to himself, his deep rumbling bass a counterpoint to the rustling of the leaves above. Through his travels during these long, lonely years, he's come to appreciate the sounds of the world around him. He's learned how to tune himself into them, letting them flow around him like the river from which he was born. They are his companions, constant and dependable. They fill the silence. They bring peace to his mind and heart during his long, seemingly endless search. As he walks, his humming trailing off as the wind dies down, he reaches into the bag slung over one shoulder and pulls out a plastic bottle of water. His deft, clawed fingers quickly unscrew the cap, and he tips it back to let the life-bringing substance pour into his waiting maw. Second, y'all. Water time. It never ceases to amaze him how many conveniences like this had popped up over the years. When he had first started his journey in the land of his birth, clean, fresh water like this was an almost sacred commodity, something to be rationed out and stretched to the last little drop. Now it could be bought at a pittance. His thoughts turned to the young man at the store in the small town he left earlier that morning, who had insisted on packing his bag full of water bottles and snacks for the road. Richard was his name, and he was the co-owner, along with his wife, of the hiking supplies outpost where the dragon had spent the last few days. He worked, and they provided food and shelter. That was the agreement, similar to ones he'd struck all along the winding road behind him. And when the time had come for him to leave, as it always did, Richard had shaken his hand and patted his shoulder and wished him farewell like an old friend, a cherished friend. And yet, Richard was blissfully unaware of the simple fact his guest was not human. The charm he kept hidden maintained a disguise of humanity. Gretchen, Richard's wife and better half, the man had always said with a wide grin, had fussed over the dragon. A nice pair of hiking boots would do better than the old, worn sandals on his feet, she'd argued. The dragon had only laughed. They'd done more than enough for him, and had both his gratitude and his blessing, before leaving the two of them waiting for the store of the shop. He hadn't looked back to them. He never did. The dragon shakes himself out of his thoughts, caps his water bottle and drops it in his bag. He has no time for reverie. By the shadows on the ground, it looks to be somewhere around late afternoon, and he has far longer to walk before the day is done. His name is Coda, and he is a drifter. However, his travels are far from aimless. The dragon is searching for something dear to him that was lost a long time ago. As Coda wanders along the path, listening to the soft sounds of nature all around, his ears begin to pick up a quiet, familiar noise, as familiar as his own breathing. A river. Ooh, pretty. Alright, y'all, I'm going to pause it right there. Thank you all so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, ring that notification bell, and check out our Patreon if you can. It always helps. Anyway, I love you all. I'll see you all in the next video. Bye-bye!